The air inside the luxurious mansion felt cold, not because of the air conditioner working overtime, but because of the atmosphere between its two occupants. Park Yin, with her sharp gaze, sat on the sofa, absorbed in her tablet. The future CEO and heiress to her father's company, she was still in her work suit, having arrived home just 30 minutes ago. Across from her sat Jian Jungkook. He too had only gotten home about 15 minutes earlier. A young CEO radiating natural charisma, he was now pretending to focus on the phone in his hand, though he occasionally glanced at Yin, silently observing his wife's movements. They had been married for almost 2 months, a classic arranged marriage between two conglomerate families seeking to expand their influence. Their relationship, truthfully, was at absolute zero, cold, stiff, and filled with nauseating formalities. "Dinner will be served in 10 minutes, sir and ma'am." A maid's gentle voice broke the silence, followed by a polite bow before she left. Yin looked up from her tablet. "All right then, let's get this charade over with." Jungkook turned to her, a faint smile playing on his lips. "A charade? Isn't that a bit harsh, ma'am? We're simply fulfilling our duties." Yin scoffed. "Duties? You mean pretending to be a happy couple in front of the maids, who report every move we make to our parents? That's what I call a charade." "You can't exactly call it a charade," Jungkook replied, rising to his feet and walking toward the already set dining table. "The fact that we sleep in the same master bedroom every night as husband and wife, that's what married couples do. That's not pretending." Yin followed him, her eyes narrowing. "That's because you know they'd definitely send private investigators, including the maids here, to spy on us. We sleep in the same room not out of love or desire, but just to avoid troublesome consequences." She lowered her voice, cautious not to arouse the maid's suspicion. "I'm just being realistic. We both know how ambitious our parents are. Playing along is the fastest way to earn freedom and avoid unnecessary trouble." Dinner was served, but their conversation continued between the clinking of spoons and forks. "Freedom?" Yin scoffed. "Seems like you're enjoying it, with all the praise from your parents, as if you're their pride and joy, the perfect son-in-law, so perfectly worthy of being called the ideal one," Yin said with a hint of sarcasm. Jungkook chuckled softly, giving her an amused glance. "I'm just good at carrying myself. You could try it too, Yin. Don't be so stiff." "Stiff?" She shot back. "Better stiff than fake like you, pretending to be this obedient golden boy. But you're not nearly as good as they think. That kindness you show in front of our parents, it's just a mask, and they've fallen for it." She added, clearly irritated, "I still remember how you used to annoy me back in college. You're not the saint they think you are." Flashes of the past flickered in Yin's mind. Jungkook, the charming, popular student with a brilliant mind, had always been her academic rival. But for Jungkook, it was more than rivalry. He'd constantly find ways to tease her, to get under her skin, just to catch her attention. "Oh, so you do remember those golden days?" Jungkook teased, resting his chin in his hand. "I remember how you used to frown every time I passed by. It was absolutely adorable." "Adorable from your point of view, annoying from mine," Yin said, setting her fork down. "Can we please stop talking about meaningless things?" "Of course," Jungkook shrugged. "Now, let me ask, what are your plans for your grandma's birthday? She called me earlier while I was at the office. She wants us to attend and be there with the rest of the family." Yin sighed. "My parents will definitely insist that we go, even though I really don't want to." "Why not?" "Too many people, too many questions, too many family politics," Yin answered honestly. "I'm not a big fan of crowds." "You'll be fine," Jungkook said with a faint smile. "I'll be there to protect you." "Protect me?" Yin raised an eyebrow skeptically. "I can take care of myself. I'm not a toddler who trips when she walks. I don't need to be protected." "Of course," Jungkook smirked. "But a husband has to appear caring, right? It's all part of our charade." Yin didn't respond. She just rolled her eyes while Jungkook let out a soft chuckle. And sure enough, on Saturday, as expected, Yin's parents called and firmly insisted that they come. Yin tried to decline, but her mother's commanding voice left no room for argument. In the end, reluctantly, the two of them set off for the Park family's spacious villa on the outskirts of the city. As soon as they arrived, the atmosphere turned lively. Yin's extended family had already gathered, filling every corner of the villa with laughter, chatter, and children's squeals. Yin's parents welcomed them with wide smiles, especially her mother, who immediately hugged Yin and playfully pinched Jungkook's cheek. "You're finally here. Grandma has been so excited to see her favorite granddaughter and grandson-in-law," Yin's mother exclaimed. Jungkook offered a polite smile and immediately approached Yin's grandmother. "Happy birthday, Grandma. Wishing you a long life and good health," he said, handing her a bouquet of her favorite orchids. Yin's grandmother smiled warmly. "Oh, Jungkook, you truly are the ideal son-in-law. Yin, you're so lucky." Hearing her grandmother's comment, Yin forced a smile, feeling slightly uneasy with the constant stream of praise being poured onto Jungkook. From the start, Jungkook had always been good at winning people over. Despite his firmness, he carried himself well and knew how to command a room. He was sociable and always knew how to make others feel at ease. It was a stark contrast to her own more reserved nature. And true to form, as the day went on, Jungkook proved just how adaptable he was. He quickly got along with Yin's male cousins, and even the usually shy little nieces and nephews now felt comfortable sitting with Jungkook. One of them even dared to curl up on his lap. He also listened intently to stories from Yin's uncles. Watching from afar, Yin felt strange. She had always seen Jungkook as an annoying rival, but here, in the middle of her family, he was showing a side she had never seen before, a side that left her feeling a little confused. "You okay, Yin?" Her cousin Minji's voice pulled her out of her thoughts. "Were you daydreaming while staring at your husband?" Minji grinned, glancing at Jungkook, who was now sitting comfortably with her husband, Minho. Yin snapped out of it. "No, just didn't expect Jungkook to get along with everyone so easily." Minji laughed. "Of course he does. He's charming. No wonder all our female cousins keep talking about how lucky you are." Yin said nothing, just nodding awkwardly. In the late afternoon, the sun began to dip westward, casting an orange hue across the sky. The warm air felt pleasant, and several of the men, including Jungkook, along with Yin's uncles and male cousins, decided to take a swim in the villa's pool. Laughter and splashes filled the air. Yin sat by the edge of the pool with her female cousins, occasionally casting a flat, indifferent glance in Jungkook's direction. However, about 30 minutes later, the peaceful afternoon suddenly turned tense. Out of nowhere, a panicked voice came from the direction of the pool. "What's wrong with Jungkook?" shouted Eugene, one of Yin's cousin's husbands, his eyes widening the moment he noticed something was wrong. Everyone turned to look. Jungkook, who had just been laughing and playing in the water, now appeared to be in pain, his hand clutching his calf. He was trying to stay afloat, but his movements were erratic, as if he had lost his balance. "He's cramping. Jungkook's cramping," Minho yelled, immediately swimming fast toward him. Unfortunately, Jungkook had already drifted too far into the middle. The pool at the Park family's villa was massive, and it couldn't be reached in just a few seconds. Water splashed everywhere, and panicked voices rang out from the edge of the pool. Several mothers quickly pulled their children away from the water. Yin, who had been sitting at the edge of the pool, froze in shock. Her eyes widened as she saw Jungkook's body slowly beginning to sink. "Jungkook!" she screamed in panic. Minho and Eugene finally reached him and managed to bring his body to the surface. Jungkook appeared unconscious. The two of them dragged him quickly to the edge of the pool. As Jungkook's body was laid down on the wet poolside floor, Yin rushed over, dropping to her knees on the slippery tiles. "Jungkook!" she called out, panicked, slapping her husband's cheeks repeatedly. "Jeon Jungkook, wake up. Hey!" Yin's parents hurried over and bent down beside them. "He might have swallowed too much water," her father said, worry in his voice. "Or maybe he went into shock because of the cold water after that sudden cramp," her mother added quickly. Hearing that, Yin's panic deepened, despite all the times Jungkook had annoyed her. Now, an unexpected fear of losing him surged in her chest. Her heart tightened, her hands trembled. Without hesitation, she leaned over him. As a future CEO, she had been trained alongside the Health and Safety Division in emergency protocols for workplace accidents, including CPR, and right now, she knew exactly what to do. Without hesitation, she pressed on Jungkook's chest several times, then cupped his face, pinched his nose, and placed her lips over his, breathing air into his lungs. 1 breath. 2 breaths. Everyone fell silent. The only sound that could be heard was Yin's heavy breathing. All eyes were locked on the two of them, holding their breath in a tension that felt like it lasted forever. Then, on the 3rd breath, Jungkook's eyes slowly fluttered open. A small, mischievous smile formed on his lips. His hand gently lifted and caressed Yin's cheek. "If I had known this would happen, I would have pretended to drown more often," he whispered teasingly. The previously tense atmosphere instantly shifted. For a moment, everyone was stunned in disbelief. Then laughter erupted from all directions. The uncles burst out laughing. The aunts covered their mouths, giggling. Yin's cousins began cheering and whistling teasingly. "Damn, Jungkook, you're insane." Truly a son-in-law to die for, making everyone's hearts race like that. Poor Yin. Her face looks like a tomato. Yin froze in place, her face flushed bright red, somewhere between embarrassment, anger, and relief, pure relief. Annoyed, she slapped Jungkook's arm. "You're insane," she hissed, then quickly stood up and stormed into the villa, slamming the door to their room behind her. Some of the cousins immediately shouted, "Wow, there's going to be a world war tonight." Jungkook just chuckled quietly, standing up as he grabbed a towel to dry his hair. Then he slipped on his bathrobe. "I'd better go calm down my beloved wife before I really drown." In serious trouble, he muttered, and followed her into the villa toward their room. He found Yin in the bedroom, standing near the window with her back to him. Her shoulders rose and fell, showing she was still upset. "Yin," Jungkook called softly, no response. He shut the door and walked closer. "Hey, you're not really mad, are you? It was just a little joke." Yin turned around, her eyes blazing with anger. "A little joke? You made me panic like crazy. You made the whole family watch me kiss you. I was so embarrassed." She grabbed a pillow from the bed and threw it at Jungkook. He caught it easily. "Well, that was kind of the point. To make you kiss me." A faint smile played on his lips. "You're insane." Yin hurled another pillow. "I can't believe you did that. In front of everyone." Jungkook sighed, placing the pillows back on the bed. He stepped closer, now standing in front of her, looking straight into her eyes. "I know you don't like me. I know this relationship has felt like a performance for both of us. But I'm tired, Yin, tired of pretending." The anger on Yin's face slowly shifted to confusion. "What do you mean?" He reached for her hand, which she quickly pulled back. He didn't give up. He took her hand again, this time with a firmer yet gentle grip. "I pulled that stupid stunt because I wanted to see you panic for me. I wanted to see even the tiniest bit of real concern." Yin fell silent, staring at her hand in Jungkook's grasp. "Back in college, I always teased you, always annoyed you," Jungkook continued, his voice softening. "Do you know why? Do you really think I was just messing around? That I enjoyed making you mad?" Yin looked up, meeting Jungkook's eyes, no longer mischievous, but filled with sincerity. "So?" she asked. "Because that was the only way I could get your attention. The only way you'd look at me, think about me, even if it was in anger," he admitted. "I know you hated me for it, but I've liked you, Yin, for a long time." The confession hit Yin like a wave. Her mind repeated Jungkook's words, looking for signs of a lie, but there were none. His eyes were too honest. "You mean, all those jokes, all the teasing, the rivalry, that was because you liked me?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Jungkook nodded, his thumb gently stroking the back of her hand. "Yes, and when our parents announced the engagement, I felt like this was my only chance. A chance to be near you, to try and make you see me not just as a rival, but as someone." Yin took a deep breath. The cold wall around her heart slowly felt a strange warmth, unfamiliar yet comforting. All the fights, the bitter looks, the doubts she had toward Jungkook began to melt. But she shook her head, refusing to let her guard down so easily. Yin suddenly swatted Jungkook's hand away, breaking the contact, then crossed her arms over her chest, her expression full of suspicion. "Don't fool me, Jungkook," she said sharply. "You just pulled a ridiculous prank. What makes you think I'd believe your love confession isn't just another one of your jokes?" Jungkook fell silent for a moment, stunned by Yin's response. His eyes blinked slowly, as if trying to process her words. He hadn't expected Yin to think that far. "Yin," he said softly, "I know I can be playful. I know that, but I still have enough heart not to mess around with someone's feelings, especially with yours." But Yin shook her head firmly, rejecting the explanation outright. Even though she couldn't deny that her heart was pounding, her mind still refused to believe it. "You even dared to steal my first kiss in such a stupid way," she accused, her voice trembling between anger and embarrassment. "Pretending to faint in the pool just to make me panic." Now it was Jungkook's turn to gape, shocked, but then his lips curled into a small smile, amused, yet oddly pleased. "That wasn't me kissing you," he said quietly. "You kissed me, willingly." "You?" Yin gasped, her face flushing red from a mix of humiliation and fury. The short distance between them made it easy for Yin to aim a punch at Jungkook's chest, but before her hand landed, Jungkook swiftly caught it. He held her hand gently, not forcefully, but firmly enough to stop her action. "If that really was your first kiss, then I'm truly happy," he whispered, their eyes meeting. "Because it was mine too." Those words instantly melted Yin's anger. She froze. Her chest tightened with a mix of emotions, embarrassment, confusion, nervousness, and something deeper she couldn't quite name. Her hand was still in Jungkook's grasp, but this time, she didn't try to pull away. Now Jungkook's face grew more serious. His gaze was deep and sincere, no more teasing smiles or playful looks. "I love you, Yin," he said softly but firmly, "since our university days. And now, my feelings have only grown stronger since you became my wife." Yin remained silent, giving no response. Jungkook continued in a gentler voice, full of conviction, "And I'm glad about what happened earlier, because I could clearly see how worried you were when you thought I was drowning. You panicked, and you didn't hesitate to give me mouth to mouth. You did it without thinking twice, just to save me." He looked deep into her eyes. "That's more than enough to make me believe that you feel something for me too. Am I right?" Yin remained silent, turning her gaze away, as if searching for a place to hide from Jungkook's honest stare. But her cheeks were starting to flush, and her breathing became uneven. "Silent, huh?" he murmured with a faint smile. "That means you can't deny it. You're just too proud to admit it, aren't you?" Yin still didn't answer, though the tips of her ears were turning red. She refused to look at Jungkook, still trying to deny it with her silence. But Jungkook was sensitive enough to notice. He lifted his hand, his thumb gently touching Yin's chin, guiding her face to meet his gaze once more. Their eyes locked again. "If you don't want to admit it, that's okay," he whispered low, his voice a soft murmur that seemed to slip straight into her chest. "Because I already understand the kind of person you are." And before Yin could answer or turn away, Jungkook leaned in and kissed her softly. Yin's eyes widened in surprise, but strangely, she made no move to push him away or stop him. Jungkook pulled back for a moment, his eyes searching her face for a reaction, but all he saw was Yin frozen in place, not angry, not resisting, just breathless. Seeing that, he leaned in again and kissed her once more, this time longer, deeper, filled with feeling. His hand slowly moved up to the back of her neck, drawing her closer until their chests touched, both feeling each other's racing heartbeats. Their breaths collided between kisses that grew warmer, deeper, and consumed every sliver of awareness. And Yin no longer fought it. Her hands slowly moved up to his chest, then to his shoulders, as if seeking something to hold onto, as if her body was losing balance from the storm of emotions erupting inside her. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to get lost in the kiss, allowing herself to feel, until, without realizing, she began to kiss him back. Jungkook's fingers slipped into her hair, trembling slightly with a mix of nervousness and long-held desire. He kissed the corner of her lips, then returned to her mouth, pouring all the feelings he had kept buried under playful teasing and quiet admiration. When they finally pulled away, their breaths were uneven. Jungkook looked deep into her eyes. This is our real first kiss. That one earlier was just mouth to mouth," he whispered hoarsely, his voice thick with emotion. Yin's face was still flushed, her eyes half-lidded, but this time, she didn't look away. "You're mean," she murmured softly, then buried her face on Jungkook's neck, as if trying to hide. Jungkook let Yin hug him, saying nothing. His arms rose and wrapped tightly around her waist, as if he never wanted to let go. The warm breath of his wife against his neck made his chest feel full, warm, nervous, and happy all at once. He closed his eyes briefly, savoring a moment he had only ever dreamed of in silence. A few seconds passed in that quiet comfort before Jungkook's deep voice gently brushed her ear. "Can I be honest with you?" he whispered, his voice low, slightly husky, and teasing. Yin only hummed softly, without pulling away from the embrace. "I've been holding myself back for a long time," he continued, now slowly caressing her back. "Since the first night, until now." He pulled back slightly to look at her face, his fingers gently brushing her jaw, making Yin look up at him with a mix of confusion and nervousness. "But after that kiss," he went on, his gaze intense, "I'm starting to doubt if I can keep holding back." Yin swallowed hard. Holding back from what? Jungkook gave a faint smile, amused by her act. "From not touching you more, from keeping my distance, even though we've been sleeping in the same room, on the same bed, under the same duvet." Her face turned red, but she still kept up the innocent expression. "I don't get what you mean." "Oh, really?" He leaned in closer. His lips nearly touched her ear as he whispered, "Then let me help you understand." Suddenly, he kissed the side of her neck, slow and tender. He didn't rush, letting Yin feel just how much he had missed her, how deeply he felt for her. His arms pulled her in tighter. Yin bit her lower lip, her breathing becoming unsteady. She began to feel the sincerity in her husband, as he no longer hid his feelings, his desire to have her completely. "If you're uncomfortable, say it now," Jungkook murmured in the middle of his actions, his voice hoarse. "Because if you say it later, it'll be hard for me to stop." For a moment, Yin didn't respond, her eyes closed, allowing herself to get lost in the moment. Then finally, she said, "Go ahead. I think I've started to fall in love with you too." Jungkook paused at her words, stunned, her confession bursting like fireworks in his chest. His right hand gently stroked her left cheek before he smiled. "Thank you, baby, for loving me." Then suddenly, he lifted Yin in a bridal style, carrying her with care and laying her gently on the bed. And for the first time, their relationship no longer felt cold or distant. Their marriage had truly begun, this time with love and tenderness that could no longer be denied. Night had fallen, the air was growing cooler, and the aroma of food from the villa's kitchen slowly filled the entire room. The sound of chatter and laughter echoed here and there, but it all slightly faded when Yin and Jungkook came down from the upper floor. All eyes immediately turned to them. "Wow, wow, wow," Eugene exclaimed while slapping the table. Finally, the couple from the second floor shows up. "So, all good? No casualties, right?" Minho chimed in with a chuckle. "I thought we were going to witness World War tonight," one of the uncles joked with a laugh. "But why do you two look super lovey-dovey now?" Jungkook and Yin glanced at each other, then exchanged a small smile. Yin quickly lowered her head, pretending to be busy pulling out her chair, trying to hide the flush on her face. Jungkook, on the other hand, looked completely relaxed, playful, and even. Well, it was a little tense earlier, but only for a moment. It calmed down before the bomb exploded. Laughter erupted around the dining table. "See, he admits it was tense," one of the aunts chimed in. "You two have always looked like a ticking time bomb, but thankfully the vibe now is different. I think world peace might have actually started right here tonight." "Exactly," Minji added with a teasing smile. Yin's face isn't so blank anymore when she looks at Jungkook. There's a little blush going on. Yin immediately pinched Jungkook's arm under the table, making him let out a soft chuckle. "See, this is what you get for pulling that prank," Yin whispered firmly. "Now everyone's teasing us." "I don't mind," he replied in a low voice, his smile laced with meaning. "I can handle the teasing from the whole family. As long as I get to hold my wife's hand tonight." Yin shot him a half-annoyed, half-embarrassed look. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them, Yin's parents were quietly observing from a different corner of the room. They exchanged glances, and this time, their faces looked relieved.